Good morning to you and welcome once again to Planet Radio 101.1 FM. This is the newspaper review where we seek to keep you informed and updated about the recent happenings. We will be taking you through the tested, trusted and approved newspaper outlets in Nigeria. And not just that, this morning we're going to bring you the sectors of business, economy, politics, health, education, and everything in between. Very special thanks for being on the other side of the divide, and thank you for being amazing. We start right about now. Of course, I am not the only one on the program this morning. I have my co-anchor, the delectable and beautiful Victoria Johnson. Good morning to you, Victoria.
Good morning to you, Rita. How are you doing?
I am fine, thank you so much.
Okay, good morning, Akwa Ibom. I welcome you to the newspaper review.
All right, thank you so much, Victoria. And we are starting with the very first headline this morning, and we are starting off the Vanguard newspaper. The masthead here says, who succeeds Obaseki? This is based off on the Edo gubernatorial elections. We see that the stage is set and voters across the 3 senatorial districts in Edo State, 18 local government areas, 192 wards, and 4,519 polling units of Edo State will troop out to elect a successor to Governor Godwin Obaseki. Okay, and so we say congratulations and may the best man win. You can find the full detail of that story on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. Well, this one here says, menace of open defecation. Nigeria's silent sanitation emergency. Yeah, so this morning they're saying, stop filling up our gutters, stop filling up our drainage systems, stop just going to the sidewalks and doing your number 2 business there. It is a problem. It is a sanitation emergency. It is a health risk, okay? And so this is an article expressively talking about the dangers of open defecation in a nation, in a country. And so you can do well to find the full detail of this story on page 4 as well of the Vanguard newspaper. We will not bow to intimidation. This is coming from Governor Adeleke this morning. Now, we know that Governor Adeleke happens to be the governor of Osun State, and he is defected from the PDP to the Accord Party. We also know that he has been lucky enough to be among the candidates and the individuals who have actually had their parties served justice by the appeal court, and that judicial mistake that was made when those parties were asked to be deregistered, okay? This man happens to be part of the parties that have had that success. And so this morning he's saying that they're not going to bow to intimidation. Whatever it is that has happened, they have had their fair share, but they are also happy at the end of the day that they have succeeded through it. Stakeholders raise alarm over foreign logistics dominance. Well, we see here that there is no priority placed on homemade goods. We are importing almost everything we use. And so stakeholders, analysts, experts are raising alarm over how much dependence we have on foreign imports, foreign goods. They are dominating our market, and they are perceiving that this is not a very great thing this morning. You can find the full detail of that story on business page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also, if you want to know the dollar to naira exchange rate today, July 31st, 2026, you can find the detail of that story also on business page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Eno hails Dangote as Nigeria industrial champion. Well, we know who Dangote is and we say well done, but maybe you don't want to agree that he is Nigeria's industrial giant. Hello, you can also take a detour or make a detour to find that out when you read the full detail of this story on business page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper as well this morning. And finally, Otedola acquires additional 22 billion naira first holdco shares, now controls 26%, and it is safe to say this morning that more money coming in. Well, congratulations to the Otedolas once again this morning. Okay, more headlines will come your way shortly. We take you over to the desk of Victoria Johnson.
Thank you so much there, Rita. Okay, I come with you with the Punch newspaper this morning, and the headline says South Africa's Tyler drops Lagos from world tour after boycott calls. Another headline here has it that FIFA rejects criticism to continue consultation on investor plan. This one says 84 workers killed in Pakistan coal mine blast. This comes as a report. And this headline here says Pinnick backs FIFA $40 million funding over government support. This one says late arrival of subsidized fertilizer. You can imagine that. So you have to check out all of this full detail, okay, concerning this particular headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning. And this one has it that NNPC deploys over 1,000 new employees after training. Okay, and from Kwara State, this one says Kwara families lament as kidnappers allegedly reject 155 million naira. Can you just imagine that? You reject 155 million naira. Did you give anybody money to hold for you? Can you imagine? So this is having to do with ransom, and then some monies were paid, and then you're rejecting it. What is your main aim when you're looking for money, or you're actually after their lives? But we just hope that the security agencies of Nigeria will scale up their effort to, bring out all these culprits to book. All right, this one says Army probes leaked DSS memo warning of Adamawa Borno attackers. From the presidency says Tinubu dissolves property privatization committee. But why? And the final one here from Punch newspaper this morning says police release Oshun SSG. Are you serious? Let me take that again. Police release Oshun SSG. Well, you want to know the detail of this particular information and even more, you have to grab a copy of the Punch newspaper this morning. Do not forget that the price doesn't bite at all. You just take a walk to maybe a major road or wherever, and then the distributors of this newspaper are everywhere. You just check out all of these details. And do not forget that our job here is to get you informed and equipped with whatsoever, is happening in your environs and beyond. Thank you so much. And then I hand you over to my colleague Rita.
Thank you so much, Victoria. We go over to the Nation newspaper this morning. The first headline here says Boa Food gross profit by 12%. You can find the full detail of that story on page 15 of the Nation newspaper. Stop parading yourselves as federal government officials, Tinubu tells ex-PIC secretary and other members. Well, you know that this is a 25-year-old agency put together during the time of Olusegun Obasanjo for the privatization of property. Okay, so they call them PIC. They are very responsible for the privatization of public property, okay, or government-owned property. Maybe at the point in time where the government can no longer fund or pay attention to a particular agency or institution, they step in and find potential buyers who can actually collaborate with the government or take charge of it completely. Now, we see here that based on reasons that have been cited by the presidency, they have dissolved that particular agency. And so Tinubu is saying this morning, stop parading yourself as government officials. Resist every urge to tell anybody that comes to ask you that you are working with the government. Or you can find the full detail of that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Adeleke, Oyebamji, Salam, Adebayo, and 10 others signed peace accord. You want to know why, you want to know where, and you want to know to which effect this peace accord is going to spawn. Then you can do well to find the full detail of that story on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. How federal government deploying fuel subsidy savings? Well, this is a question that has always been asked by the average Nigerian. You said you were taking a fuel subsidy. That means there is much more money to throw around in the economy, from the economy. What are you people using the money to do? Well, Taiwo Oyedele, who happens to be the coordinating Minister of Finance and the Minister of the Economy, saying this morning that I'm gonna tell you people what they are doing with the savings from fuel subsidy. So if you want to find the full detail of that story, please do well to check on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. President Bola Tinubu has linked Nigeria's insecurity to Sahel crisis. Otedola is the first Holdco's largest shareholder with 25.9% stake. We go over to the entertainment scene this morning. It says Daddy Shoki to hold music concert for 50-year musical deal. 50-year musical journey, I beg your pardon. 50 years is a very humongous period of time to be doing a particular career path, like showing up every day, releasing music, and being relevant, still being relevant in the industry after 50 years. It is not a joke. And so congratulations to Daddy Shoki this morning, and we wish him success for the music concert as well. We're going over to the scene of politics this morning. Baba, this bitterness is costing you more than it is costing Atiku. You want to know who made that statement, who they are referring to, and why Atiku is getting involved in the conversation. You can do very well to check on page 22 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Well, there is something that they call Bass for Boss this morning. This headline here is actually giving that vibe. This one says, how Obasanjo deceived us in 2003. This is coming from Oshoba this morning. Well, if you want to know how Obasanjo was capable of deceiving some people, you can do very well, like very, very well, to check the full detail of this story on page 20 of the Nation newspaper. Then you're definitely going to be the judge whether or not you believe that he deceived people or this might just be a misunderstanding. Okay, and so this morning, finally on the scene of entertainment, Big Brother Naija Season 11, housemate Onyi requests loan from Big Brother. Well, that is actually very, very funny this morning, but then congratulations to her if it is granted or not. More headlines will come your way this morning. Of course, we take you back to the desk of Victoria Johnson.
Okay, thank you so much, Day, once again, Rita. Okay, come with me to Delhi Post Nigeria this morning. And the first headline here says George Ebong emerges chairman, Federal Capital Territory, NMA. And this other headline here says 1966 Corp. We need apology and compensation, says the family of Aguiyi Ironsi. Well, you know that, the General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, he was the first military president of Nigeria. And of course, he took over office after the January 15, 1966 coup. He assumed office on the 16th of January, 1966, during the chaos that followed. He was assassinated. Bloody assassination, sorry to use that word, on the July 29, 1966 coup. And during this, he was just quite unlucky, so to say. And he was just 42 years of age, a man who was born on March 3rd, 1924. And he just died just like that. Do not forget that he was in office for just about few months. And right now, the family of Aguiyi Ironsi is coming out to say, hey, our son cannot just go like that. And funny enough, their lamentation is after so many years, and they are still pained by this, assassination that actually happened on their son. So they are saying that, come on, we need apology, we need compensation. This was in 1966, do not forget. And right now, the family is crying out that they need apology and compensation about how their son died. Come on. He was the first military president that Nigeria ever produced. And this cannot even slip away, no matter the years, the decades that has gone by. But well, I will say it's just so sad. Okay, it's so filled up with empathy because he wasn't even old. Okay, he was just a very young man, and that just happened. As human, of course, I know that even you, I do not know your personal observation on this particular one. I don't know what the General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi meant to you, if he was, a good person to you, or if he actually contributed much to Nigerian development, or he actually contributed to the chaos or negativity. But I do not know. But as a human or as a person this morning, I want to believe that you were feeling quite, should I use the word, quite sorry that this actually happened. And right now the family demands compensation. Now we're not talking about justice, we're talking about compensation and apology, meaning that the next, presidents and all of that followed after him, there was no formal apology, there was no formal compensation, there was no formal, approach to this particular disheartening, how do I call it, disheartening development that happened. And so the family is coming out this morning to remind Nigerian government that they need apology and compensation. Well, it is what it is. So, but I just hope that their demands will be made. Then we move over to the stock market. This one says Nigeria's stock market extends declined with 1.005 trillion naira massive loss. Oh my God, that's a whoopee sum of money, if you ask me. And of course, this word says in the world of politics actually says 2027, defections, reconciliation moves reshape Niger's political landscape. Okay, well, we hope that, we have that. This one says, U.S. State Department apologizes for wrongly labeling Nigeria on Africa map. What do you mean again? See, let me check this again. U.S. State Department apologizes for wrongly labeling Nigeria on Africa map. Okay, so Nigeria was wrongly labeled, on the African map, and today they're coming out with apologies. Okay, do we embrace this, or it's just quite sarcastic though? But it's fine, it is what it is. Okay, this one says, transfer, Real Madrid agreed deal to sell 2 players. All of those headlines coming from the corners of Daily Post Nigeria this morning. And this one says, generation of children at risk. Amnesty International laments Sokoto school shut down over insecurity. Of course, what exactly do you expect when the industry of bandits, kidnappers, Boko Haram and ISWAP, they are just targeting Nigerian schools, to suck so much of money right now? You know that a situation where this is actually welcomed, is a welcoming development so far in Nigeria for so many years now, that they're actually demanding for ransom. And then the federal government are also, towing towards that same line, working in tandem with them. And what do you expect to happen? You are actually encouraging them. You're fueling their industry. You're helping them to gather more guns. You're helping them to get more equipped with their arms and everything. You are giving them funds to buy more bicycles. You're giving them funds to buy more cars and all of that in order to have this industry working comfortably for them. Because by the time Nigerian government starts, saying that enough is enough, we have to bring our military agency, bring in every single person having to do with security in Nigeria, that all hands must be on deck to make sure that we tackle this menace on our own without a ransom coming in. I believe that by then, Nigeria will be well again. So imagine schools being shut down. Of course, it should be. Okay, this one comes from, by the time Nigerian government starts, saying that coming in. This one says all right, this was already taken. Okay, this one says transfer, not good business. Mason reacts as Arsenal forward leaves Atita's side. Okay, these and many more. Okay, I believe that I just said you have to check out all these details concerning the headlines coming to you from Daily Post Nigeria today. Well, I will hand you over to Rita. I do not know, because of time, I know that we may not have much to dish out for you, but thank you so much for staying tuned.
All right, thank you so much, Victoria Johnson. And just as Victoria Johnson rightly said, we need to give you a bit of time to prepare for the People's Parliament this morning. It comes up at 8:30 a.m. And so thank you so much for staying true to the dial. Thank you for being on the other side of the divide. Thank you for being on the seat, Victoria Johnson. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you too, Rita.
All right, thank you so much. And so we go over this morning.